Hello, Army. Lights down, heartbeat up, because what you're about to hear isn't just about numbers on a calendar. It's about time itself chasing 7 men who changed pop culture forever. When the stage lights fade and the cheers echo into memory, age becomes more than a statistic. It becomes a story, a symbol, a quiet reminder that legends grow, evolve, and carry scars the spotlight never shows. BTS in 2025 isn't just BTS with more candles on the cake. It's BTS at a crossroads between youth and legacy, between raw hunger and seasoned wisdom. Have you ever wondered how time reshapes an idol who once trained in a cramped studio with nothing but a dream? Or how growing older feels when millions expect you to stay forever young? What happens when the golden magne isn't the youngest anymore, when the leaders feel the weight of history on their shoulders, and when the eldest stands as living proof that longevity itself can be revolutionary? This is not a countdown built on gossip or shallow trivia. This is a journey through age as power, age as pressure, age as quiet strength. Each number on this list hides sacrifices, reinventions, and moments where quitting would have been easier than continuing. From the youngest who grew up in front of our eyes to the oldest who carried the group before the world cared, every rank holds tension, emotion, and truth. Why does age matter so much in K-pop? And why did BTS manage to turn it into an advantage instead of a limitation? As we move from the oldest soul to the youngest fire, ask yourself this: is getting older the end of an idol's magic, or is it the moment the real story finally begins? Stay with me, because once this ranking starts, you won't just learn who's oldest or youngest. You'll feel the years, the growth, and the legacy breathing between every beat. Number 7, Jungkook, the golden magne who outgrew time. At 28 years old in 2025, Jungkook stands at a place that feels surreal, almost unreal, especially for anyone who remembers him as the shy teenager with wide eyes who once bowed nervously behind his hyungs. Now, he's no longer just the youngest. He's a fully grown artist who has lived more life under the spotlight than most people do in decades. Jungkook's age isn't about being young anymore. It's about surviving growth in public, about carrying expectations that started before he even knew who he was supposed to be. From debuting at 15 to now standing as a global pop force, 28 feels like a quiet milestone where innocence meets responsibility. His voice, once bright and boyish, now carries texture, emotion shaped by years of relentless touring, creative pressure, and personal sacrifice. Jungkook is the embodiment of evolution. The kid who once followed instructions now writes his own rules, experiments with sound, challenges his image, and owns his artistic choices without apology. At 28, he exists in that rare space where physical peak meets emotional depth, and you can hear it in every note he sings, see it in the way he commands the stage without needing to prove anything. There's a calm confidence now, a maturity that doesn't shout but resonates, built from years of being watched, judged, adored, and misunderstood. Jungkook's journey reflects what happens when talent is nurtured but also tested, how discipline turns passion into longevity. He has faced burnout, identity confusion, and the heavy label of being the golden magne, a title that sounds glamorous but can feel like a cage. Yet at 28, Jungkook transforms that pressure into fuel, showing that growth doesn't mean losing your spark, it means refining it. His artistry feels more intentional, his performances more controlled, yet emotionally explosive, as if he's finally found balance between instinct and experience. In an industry obsessed with youth, Jungkook's age proves something powerful, that growing older doesn't dull relevance, it deepens it. He represents the future that BTS envisioned early on, where idols don't fade but mature, where the youngest becomes a pillar without losing his warmth. Watching Jungkook at 28 is like witnessing a long-awaited arrival, not at fame, not at success, but at self-awareness. And as the youngest on this list, he reminds us that even at the bottom of the ranking, the story is already legendary, layered, and far from finished. Number 6, Taehyung, the old soul wrapped in mystery. At 30 years old in 2025, Kim Taehyung, better known as V, feels like a walking paradox, someone who looks like he stepped out of a vintage photograph but lives in the hyperspeed chaos of modern fame. Age hits Taehyung differently because even when he was younger, he never felt young. From the very beginning, there was always something timeless about him. The deep baritone voice, the slow way he speaks, the artistic gaze that feels like it's always looking beyond the present moment. Turning 30 doesn't mark a loss of youth for Taehyung. It feels more like he's finally caught up with the soul he's always carried. This is the age where his personality, his artistry, and his emotional depth align perfectly, like a puzzle that was always meant to come together right here. Taehyung's journey through his 20s was anything but smooth. Behind the charming smile and eccentric humor lived someone deeply sensitive, reflective, and often burdened by emotions he didn't always know how to express. Loss, pressure, misunderstanding, and the constant tug-of-war between public persona and private self shaped him quietly, subtly, but profoundly. At 30, that quiet shaping becomes visible in his music, his acting choices, and the way he moves on stage. Not loud, not desperate, but intentional and full of atmosphere. His performances now feel cinematic, like every gesture carries meaning, every pause tells a story. Vocally, Taehyung at this age sounds richer, warmer, and more grounded. His voice isn't chasing high notes, it's pulling listeners into mood, memory, and emotion. This is the power of maturity, knowing that restraint can be more impactful than excess. As an artist, Taehyung leans heavily into authenticity, refusing to fit neatly into idle expectations, embracing jazz, soul, retro aesthetics, and emotional honesty that feels almost raw. Turning 30 also places him at a reflective crossroads. No longer the unpredictable rookie, not yet someone looking back with nostalgia, but a man actively defining his legacy on his own terms. In an industry that often pressures idols to stay polished and predictable, Taehyung's age gives him permission to be imperfect, experimental, and deeply human. You can sense it in his interviews, in the way he talks about art, photography, music, and life. It's less about proving talent and more about expressing truth. Taehyung at 30 represents the courage to slow down in a world that demands speed, to feel deeply in a culture that often rewards surface-level perfection. His presence in BTS now feels like emotional glue, someone who adds color, texture, and soul to the group's dynamic. Age hasn't hardened him. It has softened him in the most powerful way, turning vulnerability into strength. As number 6 on this list, Taehyung reminds us that growing older doesn't mean losing mystery. It means becoming comfortable living inside it. Number 5, Jimin. Grace forged by pressure. At 30 years old in 2025, Park Jimin stands as one of the most emotionally complex figures in BTS, a performer whose age feels less like a number and more like a weight he has learned to carry with elegance. Jimin's journey into his 30s isn't flashy or loud. It's quiet, intense, and deeply human. From the very beginning, Jimin was known as the perfectionist, the one who practiced longer, pushed harder, and doubted himself more than anyone else. Turning 30 doesn't erase those traits, it transforms them. This is the age where obsession becomes mastery, where insecurity turns into sensitivity, and where emotional honesty becomes his greatest weapon on stage. Jimin's body language alone tells a story of growth. Every movement now feels deliberate, controlled, and emotionally loaded, as if he's no longer dancing to impress, but to confess. His contemporary dance roots blend seamlessly with idol performance, creating something intimate yet explosive, something that feels like art rather than choreography. Vocally, Jimin at 30 carries a fragility that cuts deeper than power ever could. His high, airy tone now sounds seasoned by experience, tinged with longing, resilience, and quiet strength earned through years of self-criticism and relentless expectations. This is a man who openly spoke about struggling with confidence, body image, and fear of not being enough, yet chose to stay, to grow, and to transform pain into connection with millions. Age gave Jimin perspective, not relief, but clarity. He understands now that his sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's the core of his artistry. In an industry that rewards hardness and perfection, Jimin's softness becomes revolutionary. At 30, his presence in BTS feels like emotional gravity, pulling performances into deeper territory, grounding even the loudest moments with vulnerability. You can feel it when he sings live, when his voice trembles just enough to remind you there's a real person behind the perfection. Jimin's maturity also shows in how he speaks, less apologetic, more assured, but still kind, still reflective, still deeply aware of the people around him. He has grown into someone who leads through empathy rather than authority, through understanding rather than dominance. This stage of his life feels like a quiet victory over his younger self's fears, not because they're gone, but because they no longer control him. Jimin at 30 represents the beauty of endurance, the idea that staying gentle in a harsh world is an act of strength. As number 5 on this list, he proves that age doesn't harden everyone. Sometimes it refines the soul, making emotion sharper, movement deeper, and presence unforgettable. Number 4 RM, the mind that carries the weight of history. At 31 years old in 2025, Kim Namjoon, RM, feels less like an idol and more like an era walking on 2 feet. Age doesn't just sit on him. It speaks through him, shapes his words, sharpens his silences. Being 31 as the leader of BTS isn't about getting older. It's about carrying time, responsibility, and legacy all at once. From the underground rapper writing lyrics in his room to the global spokesperson standing at world stages, RM's age marks the distance between who he was and who he chose to become. This is the age where intelligence meets restraint, where leadership stops being about direction and becomes about protection. RM has always been known as the thinker, the philosopher, the one who questions everything, even success itself. At 31, those questions deepen. He speaks less impulsively, but when he does, every word feels carved from experience. Musically, RM at this stage sounds grounded, reflective, and unapologetically honest. His lyrics no longer chase validation. They explore identity, doubt, self-acceptance, and the quiet loneliness that comes with standing at the top. There's a maturity in his flow now, a confidence that doesn't need aggression to feel powerful. He understands that true authority isn't loud, it's consistent. As a leader, RM's age shows in the way he gives space to others, how he listens more than he speaks, how he carries pressure without letting it spill onto his members. He has lived through criticism, cultural misunderstanding, global scrutiny, and the impossible task of representing not just a group, but a generation. At 31, that burden hasn't broken him, it has refined him. You can see it in his interviews, where vulnerability replaces defensiveness, where reflection replaces reaction. RM's relationship with fame at this age feels almost philosophical. He studies it, questions it, resists being consumed by it. He reads, he writes, he reflects, constantly searching for meaning beyond applause. This is a man who knows that success without self-awareness is hollow, and age gave him the courage to say that out loud. On stage, RM doesn't need flashy moves. His presence alone commands attention, grounded in authenticity and purpose. He stands as the backbone of BTS, the steady center when chaos rises, the voice of reason when emotions run high. At 31, RM represents the evolution of leadership in K-pop, thoughtful, humane, and deeply self-aware. As number 4 on this list, he proves that growing older isn't about losing relevance. It's about gaining depth and turning experience into wisdom that lasts far beyond the music. Number 3, Jhope, sunshine tempered by steel. At 31 years old in 2025, Jungkook, Jhope, stands as one of the most misunderstood forces in BTS because behind the bright smile and infectious laughter lives a discipline forged through relentless self-control and silent endurance. Age hits Jhope like a revelation. This is the moment where people finally realize that his positivity was never accidental. It was intentional, practiced, and earned. From the early days, Jhope carried the role of moodmaker, energy booster, the one who kept spirits high when exhaustion hit hardest. But at 31, the narrative shifts. You begin to see the cost of being everyone's light, and more importantly, the strength it takes to keep shining anyway. Jhope's artistry at this age feels razor-sharp, precise, and unapologetically confident. His dance isn't just powerful, it's controlled chaos, muscle memory shaped by years of pushing his body beyond limits. Every movement now feels grounded, heavy with intention, like he's not just dancing to entertain, but to declare ownership over his craft. Musically, Jhope at 31 sounds fearless. His solo work reveals layers that casual listeners once overlooked: darkness, ambition, vulnerability, and an unfiltered hunger to be taken seriously as an artist beyond the happy image. This is what age gives him: permission to expand, to be complex, to contradict expectations. Behind the scenes, Jhope has always been a perfectionist, often harder on himself than anyone else, replaying performances, refining details others would miss. At 31, that perfectionism transforms into mastery. He knows when to push and when to trust himself, when to polish, and when to let raw emotion breathe. His leadership within the group feels subtle but crucial. He leads through example, through work ethic, through showing up prepared every single time. There's a quiet authority in how he carries himself now, a confidence that doesn't need validation because it's rooted in experience. Jhope's age also reflects emotional maturity. He speaks more openly about fear, pressure, and growth, no longer hiding behind constant cheerfulness. This transparency makes his positivity feel deeper, more believable, because it's no longer denial, it's resilience. In an industry that often reduces idols to one-dimensional roles, Jhope at 31 breaks the mold, proving that joy and seriousness can coexist, that brightness can come from discipline, not ignorance. On stage, his energy still explodes, but now it's controlled, strategic, and magnetic, pulling audiences in rather than overwhelming them. As number 3 on this list, Jhope represents the power of consistency over time. The idea that showing up every day, even when unseen, eventually builds something unshakable. His age doesn't dim his light. It reveals the steel underneath, reminding us that true sunshine isn't fragile, it's forged. Number 2, Suga, the silent genius who outlasted the pain. At 32 years old in 2025, Minyomi, Suga, stands like a quiet monument in the middle of BTS's story, unmovable, unshakable, and carved by time itself. His age doesn't announce itself loudly. It whispers through scars, lyrics, and long pauses that say more than words ever could. Suga has never chased youth, trends, or approval. He survived them. Turning 32 feels less like crossing into something new and more like standing tall after a lifetime of battles most people never saw. From a teenager sleeping in a studio, injured and broke, to a producer respected across the global music industry, Jungkook's journey is proof that longevity isn't built on hype, it's built on endurance. At this age, his artistry feels brutally honest, stripped of illusions. His music doesn't try to comfort you, it confronts you. It talks about depression, ambition, fear of failure, success guilt, and the loneliness that comes after dreams come true. And the reason it hits so hard at 32 is because it's no longer theoretical, it's lived experience. Vocally and lyrically, Suga sounds grounded, heavy, and precise, like every word has been weighed before being released. There's no wasted emotion, no unnecessary flex. His rap feels surgical, cutting straight to the truth without decoration. Age has given him clarity, the ability to say exactly what he means and nothing more. Behind the scenes, Suga's role has always been foundational. Producing, composing, mentoring, shaping the sound of BTS while staying out of the spotlight whenever possible. At 32, that quiet influence becomes undeniable. He's no longer just part of the machine. He's one of the architects. Physically, time has left its marks through injuries and exhaustion, but instead of weakening him, it sharpened his focus. He knows his limits now, and that knowledge becomes power. Emotionally, Suga at this age feels brutally self-aware. He speaks openly about mental health not as a trend, but as survival, as something he's had to confront repeatedly. There's a calm in him now, but it's not peace, it's acceptance. Acceptance of who he is, what he's been through, and what success really costs. On stage, he doesn't need to dominate. His presence alone commands attention, grounded, unflashy, and deeply real. When Suga performs, it feels like a confession rather than a performance. At 32, he represents the truth that talent alone isn't enough. You need resilience, honesty, and the courage to keep going even when passion hurts. As number 2 on this list, Suga proves that age isn't the enemy of relevance. It's the proof that you survived long enough to tell the story properly and make sure the world listens. Number 1, Jin, the eldest who redefined longevity. At 33 years old in 2025, Kim Seokjin Jin stands at the peak of this ranking not just because he's the oldest, but because he embodies what it means to last in an industry designed to replace you. Being number 1 here isn't about age alone. It's about endurance, humility, and the quiet courage to grow without losing yourself. Jin entered BTS without the typical idol background. No years of dance training, no underground rap scene, no early industry grooming. He learned everything under pressure, in public, while carrying the title of the eldest in a group that had nothing to prove yet and everything to lose. At 33, that journey finally reveals its full meaning. Jin's age feels like a statement that growth doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. Vocally, his voice now carries a warmth and emotional steadiness that only time can create. There's less urgency, more confidence, and a depth that comes from years of holding the line when others leaned on him. Jin's role has always been misunderstood, often reduced to humor and visuals, but age peels that away, revealing someone emotionally intelligent, deeply responsible, and quietly self-sacrificing. As the eldest, Jin bore expectations no one openly discussed. Staying strong, staying positive, staying stable. Even when doubt crept in. At 33, he no longer hides the seriousness behind jokes. Instead, he balances it. His humor feels intentional now, not a shield but a choice, a way to lift others without erasing his own feelings. Jin's maturity shines brightest in how he handles pressure, never dominating, never demanding respect, but earning it through consistency and care. His presence in BTS feels grounding, like an anchor that keeps the group from drifting too far into chaos. On stage, Jin doesn't chase trends or overcompensate. He owns his space with calm assurance, knowing exactly who he is and what he brings. This is the power of age, when embraced rather than feared. Jin at 33 represents a future where idols don't disappear as they get older. They evolve, stabilize, and lead by example. His journey challenges the idea that youth is the only currency of relevance, proving that sincerity, growth, and emotional reliability create a legacy that outlives hype. As number 1 on this list, Jin isn't just the oldest, he's the blueprint. The proof that time, when faced with grace and resilience, doesn't take away your shine. It polishes it until it lasts forever.